Hi everybody, good evening. Welcome to another late night stream of mine doing UBOAT. And particular greetings to my dear friend Mr. Weight Loss Games. Yep, great that you're in again. So, you are on winter holidays, Christmas holidays by now. Hope you are having a good time with your family. Yeah, hope you had a good voyage. I would be curious whether you took the car or the train and how it was going. So, hello everybody. It's a pleasure to have you in. Just see the number of watches going up. That's great. And if you look at the horizon, you see fading away a merchantman. This ship we actually controlled, checked at the end of last stream, and yeah, it was a pity, but it was a Portuguese ship, and it turned out that there was nothing suspicious and no reason to actually sink it. So here we go on our way. Anyway, nevertheless I'm quite proud that we did this nice interception maneuver. That was a ship moving with something like 13 knots, pretty fast, and it's not that easy. It takes a little bit of planning to intercept these fast-moving merchantmen. Yeah, but let me briefly talk about the situation. As the title of the stream implies, we are now 3 years in the war. If I remember right, the war started at September 39, and that was when I was actually entering the game. And yeah, that's so great about this Second World War submarine simulation, that it takes place in a complete open world, and you can start from the scratch and do a complete career through the whole war. And since quite some time, since the game actually went from early access to full release, we have two types of submarines which are both beautifully modeled. And what you can do is you can start in the very beginning of the war in Wilhelmshaven on that tiny little Type 2 submarine with pretty limited range and pretty low maximum speed, just a few torpedoes, and take that as a challenge to earn your merits to finally get promoted to command a Type 7, like now I am in command of a Type 7C. And meanwhile, I migrated to La Rochelle as being my base of operation, having of course much better access to the Atlantic theaters. And by now, as meanwhile I am also in command of milk cows, I can cross the Atlantic, refuel at these milk cows, which are large bulky submarines where you can refuel, restock your food and your torpedoes and just everything. So only these milk cows actually make it reasonable to cross the Atlantic and do missions over there. And this is what we are doing since a while. We are taking part in Operation Drumbeat, Operation Paukenschlag, and we are in the last stage where we finally have to sink 200,000 tons of merchantmen in these quadrants here. So we are not that far away, and we are, yesterday we have, in the stream yesterday, we have just entered the patrol area, the mission area, and yeah, we had been checking this ship here. Yeah, successfully in the way that we found out it's neutral. We know that there is a convoy down here, but it might be tricky to intercept that convoy before it actually leaves that area of our patrol. This is a military task force, maybe a small one, maybe just 2 destroyers, but I don't want to run into them. There is not too much to gain from sinking destroyers, as they don't count for tonnage, and if they were, the destroyers are pretty tiny in comparison to a fat merchantman. So we had that contact up there. So when this merchantman escort patrol, this man of war patrol is going that way, maybe we're just gonna continue north and do it roughly like that, and doing a hydrophone check now and then, and find some new targets. Yeah, let's check our stores. We are fine. We are just nourishing on canned bread at the moment. Discipline is high. It's very good. Fuel is, 90%. We refueled at the milk cow. Yeah, back then it was down to 60%. Travel across the Atlantic needed something like almost 40% of our fuel resources. So you can imagine that if you have another 40% for the travel back, you don't have much fuel to operate in the mission area. Bit of water in the bilge, so somebody please turn on the pump. Yeah, we have a full complement of torpedoes. We didn't fire a single one yet. Yeah, and stern torpedoes are loaded with these sound-seeking torpedoes. And here we are, the sun. The sun is about to set. Keep in mind that we are off the coast of Canada. Sorry. And yeah, so the time that we have there, 9:20, it's the local time of Europe actually. So that means that everything is going on a little bit later around here. Hey, not wet, just cold. Yeah, I'm pretty late tonight, right? So, yeah. Evening with the family was a little bit longer, pretty nice, and so only now I went down here towards my computer. Yeah, great to have you in. Hope you had a good Saturday. Yeah, let's have Mr. Trummel at the navigation table. And now It's a bit of routine again. Let's keep going. Yeah, we can't do the full-time acceleration because that merchant man is still too close, but now we can. There we are.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, Herr Kalon. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Maybe let's go for another 6 hours. It's nighttime. Well, it's midnight and full moon, obviously. There it is. So the moon really makes a difference. I'm playing on almost 100% difficulty level, and that means that I am playing also with dark, realistically dark nights. So if there is no moon, it's pretty hard to really launch an attack, and the moon pretty much helps. It might really make a difference, and even then it makes a difference whether the convoy that you attack is towards the moon or on the other side of the moon. And yeah, these things are really, yeah, it's like that every action is kind of different because all these details really influence the outcome or also your strategy in each encounter. He is Captain, the lonesome captain on the conning tower.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
I should turn on the gyro compass again, and I should turn on the electric. Again, I turned that off when I approached that merchantman. Never forget that. Navigation effectiveness. Position precision is much better when you have the... It's much better when you have the gyro compass turned on. And the dive plane's electric makes more noise, but has, yeah, more precise depth control, which you need when you are approaching a convoy on periscope depth. You really need that precise depth control to not broach the surface and show yourself. Yeah, to stay sneaky. So guys, let's do the hydrophone check and see what we hear. So I don't know, I'm a bit curious how the community would be over the Christmas holidays. I'm not quite sure. Maybe on the one hand people might be busy otherwise, or maybe people have lots of time for kind of going for gaming, going for streaming, going for streams. Yeah, we will see. At least for now, I think I'm gonna have quite a few streams. Now let's see, we already get the first contact. Ah, nice. Ah, that's a small 2 to 3 units. That's not good, because 2 to 3 units is probably man of war.
Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 350 Grad.
50 Meter.
And another convoy. That one. That one. Oh, these small groups. I really can't believe that these small groups are They must be groups of men of war.
45 Meter.
Small convoy 03.
Ja?
And they're both closing in, so maybe I should take a course somewhere in the middle between these two contacts. Go for an hour and then do another hydrophone check to see how they are moving. Extrapolate their course, interpolate their speed. But yeah, I am a bit pessimistic about these two contacts. These small groups. It's probably military task forces. Hi, Chainsaw. Great to have you in. How are you doing? How was your Saturday? Yeah, tonight I started my stream pretty late. I'm only 17 minutes into the stream, so you didn't miss much, actually.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 260
That's these
Grad.
guys. Also 2 to 3, and that was definitely also a military task force. So they are there. That's, I call them M01. So they are moving like that. That's consistent. Let's see if we hear more. Don't know where these guys were moving. That's... Maybe it's obsolete, but maybe we get a contact for these. That was a single, probably merchant. Would have been nice if I got a signal on them again.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 260 Grad.
Okay, more.
Herr Kaloy?
Them. Hey, okay. They say that this is a large group there, but I don't get any information. Of their course or something. So it would be Convoy 04. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, last night we were checking that merchantman. We nicely intercepted this merchantman on this course here. And then, well, it turned out it was a Portuguese. And then, yeah, we sent an away team, a boarding party, and they checked the Portuguese ship, and there was nothing suspicious. The cargo was alright, the course was alright, and so, yeah, we just couldn't sink it. And now I went back northward, patrolling and doing a hydrophone check right now.
Herr Kaloy?
I think I'm going to delete this one. And I should go after that one. It's a decent convoy, and it's probably going east.
Meter.
to the surface. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so still pretty dark out there.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Let's go for those guys.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
And let's go flank speed.
Voraus.
Let's switch to intercept mode. So, going flank speed. Yeah, we just have moderate wind, so we should be going something like 70 knots, which would mean after 1 hour we should be around here. And them, yeah, our hydrophone guy, Mr. Hinrich, said that they are moving slow. Let's assume that they are going westward and with 8 knots, something like that. Yeah, some assumptions, but yeah. When you don't have the 100% sure informations, you have to act on assumptions. And my assumption is that this is a convoy which is heading east to supply the Allies on the European war front. Yeah, let's give it a new save. New stream, new save, W235. There we go. And yeah, it's night time. Let's go for 1 hour till 3:10. Alright, so my dead reckoning was pretty okay. And yeah, what else can we do than ordering another hydrophone check? There we go.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
So the off-watch crew is all running towards the fore compartment, the torpedo room, to give us additional ballast afore for getting the nose down quickly. Mr. Schneider opening the valves to let seawater into the ballast tanks. There you see the ballast tanks being filled, and it's so greatly detailed. There is real physics behind it. So the fore tank is flooded first, so that we quickly get the nose down, and the stern ballast tank has some slight time delay, and there we are.
Tiefe 5 Meter.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Going down. And here 2 crew hands have manned the depth steers, while back there another crew hand is doing the conning
25 Meter.
all the time. Yeah, the helm, I mean. Hey, great guys, it's a pleasure to have you in. Don't feel observed, I just see the number going up, no idea who you are. But, of course, as I used to say, I'm always happy to get some comments into the chat if it's just hi. Or maybe even some feedback on what your status with the game is, or what you think about the stream. All kind of chat is highly welcome, but don't feel pushed. It's perfectly fine if you just watch silently. Yeah, even that's just great for a streamer, for a little streamer like me. Just see that a few people watch, a few people might care. So, it's a pleasure to have you in. Ah, okay, good point. Yeah, let me show you how I do it.
Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe.
Or please allow me to first make sure that we get all the contacts. And then I'm gonna come back to your question, Chainsaw. Yeah, the watch schedules and these settings of the group, preferences, priorities, that's quite a big and important point of the game, to have it smoothly running and not to have to do too much micromanagement. Okay, they are moving like that, giving us a rough idea. I call it convoy 02. Let's see what else we get. So while we are waiting for Mr. Hinderich to report additional contacts, let's check the crew. So what I do is I have 3 different shifts. And this is how I do it. Well, I'm a big fan of the Age of Sail novels like O'Brien and Forrester. That's what I all read. And so my roster, I don't know if it's historically correct. I think, yeah, if you ask weight loss, he's in pretty good knowledge of what it actually is right now in the navies, and I think also what it was back then in the Second World War. But I'm doing it like they did it in the Age of Sail, having 4 hours of watch, which is 8 bells, and then 8 hours of off watch, and then while the first watch group has its 8 hours of off watch, the second one has 4 hours, and then the third one has 4 hours. That's how I do it. And here, then you can actually add each particular sailor to one of the squads. And that's, if you, I have never tried anything. Sorry, I never tried everything. But I think that this is pretty important, so that the automatism runs properly, that you really have scheduled each single sailor to one of the watches. And I experienced that if, for example, one of the sailors dies and you don't erase him from the watch roster, you get some kind of weird effects. So that's how I do it. And yeah, then I have my officers. So I actually do have 3 watch officers. But sorry, let me interrupt and briefly check the contacts so that I don't miss them. Do we have here 2 to 3? Okay. Okay. Sounds like we don't get that large convoy anymore. I hope that that was not a misreading. Yeah, they are moving out. The military 01. But there is this convoy. And I think it should be moving in. Maybe it's, well, the noise of that convoy is not audible because, well, this military convoy makes so much noise.
Große Gruppe. Peilung 0 Grad.
Ah, great. There they are. Nice. That's what I wanted to have. Convoy 04. So they are moving pretty slow then.
40 Meter.
Hey, just with 6 knots. That's incredibly slow. Yeah, okay. Chainsaw, should I show it a little bit longer? So that you... Or do you have anything pictured that you need?
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
So here we are back to the surface, and yeah, we are moving straight for them. That looks good. So let's give it another 17 miles, 1 hour, and both them pretty much looks like they are moving like that. And 6 hours would mean that after an hour they should be there. Of course, there is quite some uncertainty, which is great. You really have, you never have 100% precise readings. But yeah, they nicely do probability and introduce fuzziness, uncertainty into all the data that you get. Yeah, okay, let me show you. Now it's 20 past 3, so 1 hour will be 20 past 4. So I have 3 watch officers, which is our first mechanic. So he will always be with this watch group, which I call evening shift, but the name, well, I didn't call it. It was called like that default, but it doesn't make much sense because the time of their shift shifts over the days, over the week, over the month. But Mr. Arles being with one watch group, Mr. Grade, our chief engineer, being with the next watch group, and Mr. Trommel with the third watch group, Mr. Trommel being the bosun. And for the captain, Mr. Lamprecht, I did not assign anything. So he's just free to do anything which seems to be useful. And the same for Mr. Schneider. He is our second mechanic. And his priority actually should be maintaining the torpedoes. And so he also doesn't have any schedule. But I have 2 radio officers, Mr. Preen and Mr. Hinrich, and as I only have 2 of them, they just take 12-hour turns, which works fine. Yeah, I already got extra officers, yeah. In the beginning you have less officers. In the beginning you just have 1 radio officer and just 2 technical officers. So I think I have 2 more than you have in the beginning. So in the beginning you have to kind of find a way how to do it. But what I always did from the very beginning, that I have definitely 3 watch officers. Hey, Aqua Icing. Hey, it's a pleasure. You haven't been in the stream for a few days, have you? Or maybe you were just lurking, but it's great to hear word of you again. How are you doing? I hope you smoothly slipped into, well, the weekend, and maybe also, I don't know if you do have some kind of winter holiday. Yeah, okay, yep, when you're on late shift, yep. And yeah, I guess you don't have something like Christmas or winter holidays, have you? Ah, okay, that's nice still. Yep. Yeah, I don't want to make you guys jealous, but actually my last working day this year was Friday. Yeah. But yeah, on the other hand, I will have to do a little bit of work between, for the next 2 weeks. Although officially I'm on holiday, I have some projects to work on. Hey, Boff Trouty. Great that you're in again. Yeah, you can recruit the officers from the base, but you need to kind of you have to make it available actually by investing reputation points. So you have to invest reputation points with one of these guys in the port, and you have to do 2 investments to stepwise get first 1 more and then a second officer. Yeah, that's good. Chainsaw, yeah. At least that, yeah. So I understand that you have a job additionally to, your ordinary school assignments. Yeah, and coming back to Chainsaw, so what you should also heed a bit is this kind of balance here. In the early game, when I started to play it, the balance of the tasks, the priority of the tasks was not so well balanced. And well, I actually watched some YouTube videos too. Yeah, so if you take a picture of that one, well, I don't say that this is perfect, but at least for me it works since quite a while. So let me scroll down. If you would like to take a picture here, there is, all of them have an 11 with taking a rest when it's necessary. And here, Mr. Trommel and Mr. Lamprecht, the 2 line officers. Calm down, watch, navigate, and play cards. And then you can also take a look at the shifts. So this is also quite important to have some kind of a decent priority here for the 3 shifts. And this works quite fine as I have it here. But yeah, it's not my own brain that is put into this one, but actually something like 1.5 years ago, I was studying a lot of YouTube videos where other guys gave some nice explanation about that one. Let me see. Have we? Yeah, okay. That's the full picture. Yeah, that's it actually. And to smoothly run the game, these settings are pretty important. Yeah, that's right. That's right. To do all that crew management and everything. And yeah, you don't want to go into all the micromanagement, and to have it well balanced. That's really one other part of the game. So let's do a little bit more time acceleration. go for 1 more hour. And there is really a big fat convoy there which just waits to be harvested by us. Or maybe also being escorted by some deadly man of war. So 1 more hour. Do we already have a first hint of the rising sun? No, not really. So, let's have another hydrophone check. Yeah, again, that's nice. You see the crew going through the hatches, pretty much like that animation. And Mr. Arles this time opening the valves like we had it. The crew assembling in the fore compartment and the ballast tanks being flooded to bring us down. For ballast tank and stern ballast tank, and down we go into the darkness. Yeah, at night it's pitch black dark down here.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 0 Grad.
Ah, great, that's these guys. We have them. Let's give it a save because we are on the right way.
Herr Kaloy.
Let's see. Okay, they are a little bit further ahead. So that first dead reckoning might have been a little bit faulty. Convoy 04.
Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 5 Grad. 50 Meter.
Maybe they're going 7 knots, not 6. 6 would be really slow. That would be unusual. 7 knots is the slowest that they used to go. And that's fine.
Aktuelle Tiefe 55.
So this is gonna be our next target. The point is maybe I should not go towards them flank speed anymore, but just wait, because I would prefer to actually attack them at the break of dawn. Maybe I could arrange my own speed exactly in the way that we would finally approach that convoy at the break of dawn. Let's see if we can arrange it like that.
50 Meter. Herr Kapitän.
By the way, what's the detection range? Yeah, so we have a radius of 90 miles. Yeah, we invested a few of these reputation points to upgrade, to do some developments, and so we have some upgrades of the hydrophone. But even if you have the very first basic hydrophone, you already have 70 miles of detection range, and that's so amazing. I mean, that's physics. Underwater, sound propagates at enormous speeds and for enormous ranges. So as soon as you get down away from all that noise from the surface, the waves clashing against the hull, the spray, the wind, as soon as you get down something like 50 meters, you have an enormous detection range, and you would detect just any moving propeller within this range. Remember or imagine that this is the communication system of whales, for example. These amazing sea mammals. Yeah, Mr. Grade together with... So, Mr. Grade, yeah, he's on watch at the moment, so he's attending to the engines. Although the engines are fully quiet at the moment, we are just, yeah, doing silent running. Engines turned off and just listening for 5 minutes. That's the idea of the hydrophone check. Get the boat down to 50 meters, do the hydrophone check for 5 minutes with engines turned off, and then get back to the surface. Yeah, and it's so nice that this game has wonderful concepts to to prevent you from getting too deep into micromanagement. Just a bit of water. Uncritical, no hull breach or something. You always accumulate a bit of water in the bilge. Which is also a lovely concept, making everything feel so realistic. Like, yeah, imagine that you always have a little bit of water seeping through some gaskets. Or when you're surfaced, you always have some water coming in whenever some sailor opens the hatch to change watch.
20 Meter.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yeah, there we are again in the darkness. Now let's consider. I guess they are moving something like that. Maybe even a little bit northerly, like that.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Now let's do some extrapolation. Them, assuming they're going with something like 7 knots, so it would be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and right now it's 4 o'clock, 4:30, so it would be 7:30. Half past 8. And yeah, at 8:30 we should actually get a bit of daylight.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
So let's reduce speed.
Kurs setzen.
Just put ourselves into the way of that convoy and wait until it approaches us. Yeah, 3 knots. So after 1 hour we would be there. Let's do another hydrophone check then. Right now they're here, then they would be there. Yeah, we have to be a bit patient now to wait for that convoy to come upon us. If we do it like that, they might be upon us just right at the break of dawn, which would make a periscope attack reasonable. Give it a save.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
4:30. Let's go for up 5:30. One hour. Let's do another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Silas opening the valves, the crew assembling in the fore compartment, and the ballast tank being flooded again. The good old routine.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
Auf
Meter.
E-Motoren wechseln.
Schraubengeräusche. Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 315 Grad. Ja?
20 Meter.
Okay. New contact. Maybe it's that one. We don't know. Maybe it's the C3.
Große Gruppe. Peilung 140 Grad. Aktuelle Tiefe
Might be that one. Let's assume, but not sure. Let's not take it for granted.
Herr Kaloy.
And there is them.
Meter.
CO4 convoy number 4. There they are. They are moving a bit slower, maybe, than I say.
Kurs setzen.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Meter.
Engine stopped and
Laufen Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy.
listening silently.
Meter.
Discipline is going down due to current depth. Yeah, but that's uncritical.
Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 140 Grad.
Okay, but that's nothing new. We had that already.
Anblasen. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
And there we are.
Jawohl, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Back to the surface. Yeah, nice. Alright, and
Alle
at that
Maschinen
point,
stopp.
I would like to just stop the engines and wait for another hour. Maybe I would like
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
bring the boat onto a course like
Langsame
that.
Fahrt voraus.
It's 20 to 6.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Six o'clock.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Let's go for 20 to 7. And then
Kleine Fahrt
do
voraus.
another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
To confirm their course. Let's see, so according to our debt reckoning, they should be here right now. Very good job that our hydrophone expert, Mr. Hinrich, is doing there.
Wie lauten die Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Yeah, we are going down. Yeah, everything takes a little bit longer when you're just going with forward one
Schaufelgeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 280 Grad.
to 270. Yeah, that's west. That's
20 Meter.
due west. That looks pretty reasonable. Convoy 04, wasn't it? Yeah.
Aktuelle Tiefe 35 Meter. Meter.
Oh, let's wait if we have any other decent
Aktuelle Tiefe 50
Contact.
Meter.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Yeah, guys, by the way, I see the number of watches going up and down, and yeah, pretty glad to have you in. Right now it was going up, so don't feel observed. I just see the number of watches, don't know who you are, and if you just want to lurk anonymously,
Kleine Gruppe.
that's perfectly fine.
95 Grad.
But yes, but
50 Meter.
I'm always glad to get some feedback. If it's just a hi in the chat, or maybe always curious about how deep you are in the game. Do you play it by yourself, or are you just watching, or are you new, are you an old salt? So all these things I'm pretty curious about. That's why I do streaming, because I pretty much love to chat with people all over the world. Always find it so fascinating to have a chat with some guys being an ocean away. But don't feel pushed. Just lurking and watching perfectly fine. Little streamer like me is just happy to see that there are a few guys caring for what I do. Yes, I never finished the game just as well, so I never went so far into the war like right now. Now we are 3 years into the war, and I never went any further. And I fear that I'm also not gonna finish this one as well, because end of January we are getting that update, and yeah, probably the update will not be compatible to the saved games, so probably we are gonna start a new one then. Yes, that's also fine. I mean, yeah, let's not call the English Channel an ocean, but yeah, still, I mean, there is an ocean. The North Sea is in between us, and that's already very fascinating to have you in from Liverpool. Yeah, and it's not only the channel, it's even, yeah, you're on the other side of Britain. Yeah, let's mark this one again. Assume this is CO3, what we had before. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? So, not what. Isn't it a bit like. Yeah, how should I say? Going on your nerves. At least Liverpool is maybe one of the most famous cities of the UK, I would guess. But of course, you're maybe always reduced back to these 4 guys in the 60s.
Anblasen.
Yeah, but still, everybody in the world probably knows Liverpool, thanks to these guys. Yeah, well, I mean, in the last stream, there were words about that there was some kind of, yeah, war operations center in Liverpool, was it?
Meter. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Yeah, there we are. Let's stop for now. Yeah, you guys, I like to mention that now and then. Believe me that I'm not playing this game to kind of revert history. I'm very happy looking back that you guys, the Allies, actually won the war, and I don't want to change anything about that in the gameplay. And yeah, even now I'm pretty happy and very thankful that you guys, the Allies, put so much blood and effort into yeah, freeing us of that madman and his friends. So yeah, when I play U-Boat, I do it for the fascination of the technology. And yeah, in kind of remembrance of what these guys, these submarine mariners, actually did back then. But yeah, still, I feel very fond of you guys. I think your ships here in the game, but in real life, looking back, I'm just happy that the Kriegsmarine didn't succeed with their U-boat war, and you finally came in and freed us and made Germany what it is right now. Yeah, well, I had a very, very close relationship to my grandfather. And, well, he was not a big storyteller, but over all these years, when we were very close, he told one or the other story, and that's pretty amazing. Chainsaw, what do you mean with too hot? You don't mean it literally, right? Yeah, my grandfather, he was actually a professional soldier before the war. So there was the recession, and when he finished his apprenticeship, he just didn't get a job, and so he joined the forces back then. He joined the, how was it called? The Wehrmacht. And so, yeah, when the war started, he had been already a professional soldier for something like 2 or 3 years. And, well, so he was fighting on the wrong side of history, actually, but it's still quite amazing. And the stories that he told. And, yeah, there was quite some journey that he did during the war, and well, it ended actually when he stepped onto a landmine on the approach to the east, to Russia. And yeah, he just barely survived it. And lost his leg, actually. His lower leg. Yeah, actually, it's not too bad with refugees. Maybe sometimes in the media it's overemphasized, Chainsaw. So, still alright, but of course there are discussions about that. Yeah, that's right. So, actually, my grandfather died already quite some years ago, but same for me, and that's still a project, so I would love to write some story about his life. Just from all these things that he did tell me all over the years. Hey, okay, Chainsaw. I think I'm still gonna do for 1 hour or something. Would be great to have you back in then. So I hope it's not too much work that you do have left. Yeah, my grandfather was a petty officer. And yeah, I remember once he told me that he had the opportunity to go to the, to be, he should have gone to some kind of officers, how do you call it, officer school during the war, and then he was kind of knocked out by a horse, broke his arm because he was being kicked by a horse, and then he couldn't go to that officer school. And yeah, years later his comment was that he was pretty glad later that he was not in charge like an officer in all that bullshit, but just a petty officer. Yeah, that's amazing. That's really amazing. I never did that, and nobody in my family actually did that far back. That I find that very fascinating. But now let me put some yeah. Just let's not lose track about these guys. What's the lighting? Yeah, it's still deep night and everything's dark. Let's wait for one more hour. Let's give it a save. And yeah, so we are just floating here in the way of the convoy and waiting for them to cross our path. So it will be 7:45. And okay, so there is the first hint of daylight, of the rising sun over there. Let's do another hydrophone check. Yeah, we need to do a little bit of going ahead. Speed ahead. Yeah, you need to have some headway. This is something that is not so well implemented in the game, I would say. That depth keeping would be much more easy when you do decent headway, and when you're just stationarily floating in the water, that depth keeping would be quite a challenge. This is something which is not yet so well reflected in the game, I would say. Yeah, let's see. So we still have some time. So I won't go to bed before 3 o'clock, so we still have a bit. And let's see, maybe we are gonna sink one ship tonight. But let me be AFK just for 1 minute.
Kleine Gruppe. Peilung 95 Grad. 20 Meter. 35 Meter.
45 Meter. 50 Meter.
30
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter. Meter.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 275 Grad.
Alright guys, back again. So yeah, I got me a little late night snack. I hope I'm not gonna bother you too much with my munching. So let's see what we get. Alright, so Dead Reckoning. Yeah, maybe I wasn't quite precise about the hour, was I? What about the other guys?
Ja.
That one. Yeah, that's just fine. So what's our distance towards that convoy? 16 miles still. So maybe I should head towards them after the hydrophone check to make sure that I approach it at dawn. Yeah, that helps. So at daylight there is always this risk that they observe your periscope poking through the water surface, and at dusk or at dawn it's much easier to stay hidden.
Aktuelle Tiefe 20
Jawohl, Herr
Meter.
Kaloi.
So another hour would bring them there.
Getaucht.
Yeah, okay. So if we would continue like that, we would end up with a distance of 4 miles after an hour.
Langsame Fahrt voraus.
Let's go a little bit faster. I think in an hour the sun will be up. Yeah, sorry. So I guess on the mic I do make quite a bit of noise with my peanuts.
Kurs setzen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
Yeah, let's go for half an hour now. Let's give it a save.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet. Torpedorohr 5 gewartet. Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
And here we are. So they should be somewhere here right now, meaning a distance of roughly 7 miles. Yeah, the sun isn't yet up. Hey, Colin. Yeah, great to have you in. So we are on the final approach on that convoy. And yep, you are also with us. And that's great. So, how are you doing? How was your day, Colin? Yip yip. Hope you had a nice and smooth, easy Saturday.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, let's reduce speed again. We need a bit more daylight to approach these guys. Yeah, but see, we already have smoke columns on the horizon. Yeah, it's hard to tell in the darkness if it is already hull up or just smoke. Hey, your favorite team, Liverpool. So not wet, just cold. Are you still there? Yeah, you can't see it, but Colin from the YouTube chat, he just wrote down that he was watching his favorite team, which is Liverpool. Okay, so are you originating from the Philippines? Or, I mean, your ancestors, maybe your parents or your grandparents? Pretty amazing, because my father, yeah, he had been doing a lot of overseas jobs, and when I was young, he had, several stays in the Philippines. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking about what the name of the city was where my father regularly went to. So it was a long-term project, and so over something like 2 years he again and again went to there for something like a few weeks. Yeah, you didn't miss much. We were doing a few hydrophone checks, and now we are closing in on a decently large convoy. The convoy is heading straight for us, and we are right in the way of the convoy, and I try to actually time it so that we approach the convoy with the break of dawn. Yeah, guys, help me to stop myself with the peanuts.
Bestätige.
Yeah, we have the smoke columns ahead. I wonder if I should maybe start to dive already by now. I have to admit that I'm not that deep into football, although I am a German. My children actually took me a bit into football. But, yeah. To be honest, I don't know much. If you would ask me right now who the leading 3 teams are in the German league, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Hey, yep. Yeah, what we do is actually our main Christmas celebration actually is the eve of Christmas. So in the evening of the 24th of December, that's when we do our main celebration here in Germany. So many people go to the Christmas Mass, and, well, then there is a supper and the gifts actually. So in Germany, the gifts are given, the Christmas gifts are actually given away already on Christmas Eve on the 24th. And not on the 25th. I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't know why we have that difference. And I think also there are other European countries which do it different to Germany. I'm not sure, but I think the Scandinavian countries and maybe also the Dutch people, I think they more do it like you, to do the celebration on the 25th in the morning. No idea why. So in the German, I think it's similar in Austria and in Switzerland, I guess. I don't know about France, to be honest. Any French guys in the stream? If yes, so please tell us how you do it. When are the Christmas gifts given? In the evening of the 24th or in the morning of the 25th? Yeah, right, Google time. That's exactly these things that you could get out of Google, yep. Ah, okay, yeah, interesting. Never knew. I just always took it for granted. Yeah, it's all kind of tradition. Could do it like this or like that, and there they come. There they are coming in. Yeah, if I remove the filter. Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad without the filter. The rising sun helps. So I think we could just carry on a course like that.
Kurs setzen.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Ah, yeah, Liverpool. That was that club of Jürgen Klopp. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Kind of like that guy. He seems to be a nice guy. As far as I could judge. So who would be second? So if Liverpool is first, who would be second in the league? Second and third? I remember there is Tottenham Hotspurs are pretty good, aren't they? And then here, London. What's that suburb of London? Don't remember the name. Chelsea, right? They're also good, aren't they? Please don't blame me that I don't know much about the English Football League or UK Football League. I also don't know much about the German Football League, I have to admit. Okay, let's dive. No, they are getting us into their radar range. Very good. That we have that passive radar detector warning us that we are coming into range. So guys, get the boat down. Quick, please. Before they actually detect our position with their radar. There we go. Ballast tanks being flooded. All smoke columns on the horizon already.
Herr Knoll, wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rücksplit eingestellt.
Down we go.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 0 Grad.
Okay, so it's like Bayern München, right? So Liverpool is the Bayern München of the UK. Okay, there they are, nicely lined up. But some of them, for sure, are military. Yeah, okay, now we have a nice illumination. Maybe I would like to go faster. Let go for cruise speed. They are still far away, so probably no risk of being detected. And let's have Mr. Grade to do the depth keeping being improved. So now Mr. Grade, our chief engineer, is gonna supervise the crew hands at the depth steers to make sure that we don't breach the surface and getting visible to them. Yeah, we really have to make sure that we stay sneaky. Maintenance. Yeah, let's just wait. Okay, so in the Philippines it's celebrated on a completely different date. Amazing. I think the Philippines, they are, yeah, almost 100% Catholic, aren't they? So I was thinking about the city. I think my father went to Cebu. Does it make sense? I think he had several pretty long stays, something like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4, several times down there in Cebu. He was an engineer doing kind of, yeah, things about water supply. Yeah, after that he had a lot of different assignments abroad, but that was actually the first assignment he had. So his first big abroad assignment was the Philippines, and that was some kind of a project in Cebu about, yeah, the water supply, like having all the supply lines and pipes and yeah, I don't remember the details, I have to admit, but Yeah, that was kind of his job, to make sure that people in a city get their fresh water and that the used water is actually being nicely gotten away. Hey, Colin. Yeah, amazing. So they won the European Cup for 6 times. And yeah, Bayern only 5. All right. Great. Yeah, as for me, I'm working in Frankfurt and I'm living close to Mainz. So that's, if I had any sympathy, it's these two clubs. It's Mainz or Frankfurt. And, well, in principle, my uncle, he was big in football. I mean, he was playing in some kind of an amateur league pretty up high. And, yeah, he was a big fan of Borussia Mönchengladbach. So although I don't know much about football, I educated my children to be fan of Borussia Mönchengladbach. And yeah, by nature, they might also be fans of Mainz or Frankfurt. Yeah, yippee up. Let me think. My parents, they are both German. My grandparents, they're also all German. But my grandparents, I think, they were partly Hungarian or Austrian, something like that. Back then, Hungary and Austria, they were kind of related, I think. But yeah, that's the deepest that I could get into my history. Hey, Florian Wirtz, he's a cool guy. Yep. That guy, I kind of like that guy. So Colin and EP up, so it's a little bit weird because right now we are having two kind of parallel conversations, one running on Twitch and one running on YouTube. But coming back to the question of my origins, yeah, I never did dive deep into that, nor did my parents. But yeah, as I said, my grandparents, they were all German, and my grandparents on the side of my father, they were also all German, I think, but on the other side, on the side of my mother, there were Hungarian guys in the line. So you guys on YouTube, let me translate a hi by Yippee Yap on Twitch. So a hi to YouTube. Okay, we have a poet on board. And now look at that. This one, I'm pretty sure
Peilung 350 Grad.
pretty sure that this guy definitely is a escort. This is an escort. That's a merchantman, I think. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. And there is another escort. And they're closing in. is just 8 knots, so that means that we could put down the periscope a bit to be less visible for now. Yeah, isn't he? That Florian Wirtz? As I said, I'm not an expert, but my impression was that he is quite some hotshot. Yeah, and one of these guys who are not making much ado about themselves, but just playing good football. Maybe at that point we should reduce speed. Let's go to kleine Fahrt
Fahrt, voraus.
and
Alarm beenden.
stop the alarm. I can't have all the guys be on battle station, but
Schleichfahrt.
let's be silent. Let's turn off the gyro compass. But yeah, let's keep 2 dive planes electric, because I just want to be 100% sure that we don't breach the surface. Ah, did he? Yeah, right. He was at Mainz, yeah. Yep. Yeah, fun fact is that one of the recent team coaches of Mainz, his son was at school with my son. I think he isn't the coach anymore, but he was the coach who made Mainz win against Bayern München. Something like 3 years ago, I would say, maybe 4. He was from Denmark, actually. The coach, I mean. Yeah, but something like 2 or 3 years ago, they went back to Denmark. So, yeah, his son was a friend of mine, my son, at school. Okay, there we go. Getting eyes on the convoy. More and more. Military. 100% sure that this guy is military. And this guy is military as well. That one might become dangerous, this one as well. I would like to go for one of these in that row. Okay, yip yap. Was a pleasure to have you in. And have a good night. I think I'm gonna stream tonight as well. So as I said, I'm on holiday right now, so I don't have to get up early on Monday as I used to have. And so there should be time for a late night stream tomorrow as well. So late night stream for now, for me, would be something like, yeah, late afternoon, early evening for you guys in the US. Always been glad to have you in the stream. But of course, always glad to have guys from Scotland in the stream and guys from Liverpool in the stream. Hey Colin, it's just a pity that here my guy in the Twitch stream, he's from Liverpool actually, but he can't see your comments. Liverpool. Let me just translate it to him. Liverpool's top scorer this season, and the top scorer is Hugo Ekitike. Okay, sorry, I can't pronounce that. Ekitike, French international. Okay, and he came from Eintracht. Okay, amazing. Allow me this joke. I'm pretty sure that Eintracht is maybe a word that is pretty difficult to be pronounced by any other guy than German. Could go for this one. That would look good. Yeah, let's see what havoc we can wreak amongst these ships of the convoy. But that one... Is it a tanker? What could that be? Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, sinking a tanker is always the best. They have the largest tonnage. let's give it a save here. Yeah, alright guys. I look at the time, it's 3 o'clock around here. And yeah, I have to turn in. So we are gonna do that final tag tomorrow. Give it a save. And yeah, sorry guys, that's quite some tense moment. Would be so great to continue right now, but yeah, let's postpone it to tomorrow. I have to get a nap. So, thanks for joining. It was a pleasure to have you in. Colin. Yeah, might be a T2, yeah. Yeah, not cold, not wet, just cold. Good night, have a good one. Yippee yap, I think yippee yap is already out. Weight loss, I am not sure, but it might be that you're still there. So have a good night. Aqua icing. If you're still in, I'm looking forward to have you in the stream again, maybe tomorrow. See you, guy. And Chainsaw. Well, you said you would get out, and yeah, sorry, I can't wait. I have to get to bed right now. Yeah. Alright, guys. So, I pretty much enjoyed the stream. I pretty much enjoyed the game. And I pretty much